Andrew Mwenda, Newsnight, CEO, Independent Magazine, and the old man of the clan. Andrew, this is any journalist's
great story.
Great story. It came to us at about 7 p.m. last evening.
Yes.
Oh my God. This was...
You were swimming in ecstasy.
Of course.
Let me tell you, Maurice, for me as a journalist, an investigative one, I think I have matured in journalism.
Why would you say that?
I think for me, when I saw these salary releases yesterday, saying Anne Babinaga, whom I know, earns 96 million, Lucinda Chuebe 78, all this, it immediately became clear to me that this is wrong information, that there must be a mistake. In fact, when I entered our editorial meeting this morning with journalists, I found the journalists and independent were already in arms. There was anger, there was rebellion. People were willing to take up arms and go to State House to fight these salaries. So I held the thing in front of our editorial. Said, guys, we are journalists.
Yes.
We are not politicians.
Yes.
Politicians want to make political capital. We must ask ourselves, why are these salaries like this? It's very likely what is being stated as monthly salary is annual salary. That is the first statement I made in the newsroom. Because there are certain things that come to me as unlikely to happen. That State House would pay somebody 96 million shillings a month. If you told me they stole 1 billion shillings from State House, even if you said they stole 20 billion, I would believe you. But an official salary, when the president, I think, earns about 6.6 million shillings, is least likely. So what happened yesterday in Uganda, in the parliament, was a failure in maturity of leadership, of political leadership. What happened with journalism, including at NTV, was the lack of the necessary skepticism that a journalist should bring to a story.
You can never rule out anything in this country, Andrew. And we've seen figures cooked up in this country. You and I agree that we've
So you think the new figures are cooked up?
Outright corruption, and we've seen outright thuggery in the state, you know, by the state. But this was tabled before Parliament by an honorable member of Parliament.
A printed book, you can show it to the camera.
And I need to say this, because many of you probably do not think we had this. This is a document printed by the state and presented to Parliament as a policy statement for the State House and the Office of the President, the Uganda AIDS Commission, Ethics and Integrity Office, and the External Security Organization. Their budget and all they will be doing for the 2014-2015 financial year is here. So how can someone pick out, and Andrew, you saw, it's a volume.
It's a volume, yes.
It's about 20 pages. So a printer somewhere does their job and chooses Andrew, to make the salaries an error. And I heard on social media, by the way, Linda Nausai, the President's Press Secretary, Deputy President's Press Secretary, said it was an intentional error by somebody to malign members of staff members at State House. Would you believe that?
Of course, I would not agree with that. You see, that's a whole another problem. Now they want to add something called intent. You see, I think Linda Nausai, really. Let me tell you this. This could be a computer mistake. In other words, a computer can get what you earn per month. If you shifted the column on your Excel file, then what you earn per month, it puts it there.
Because there's a formula already for annual.
Exactly.
So it will.
So if you shift the column for what you earn per annum, and you put it in the monthly column, it will give you a different figure the other side because the formula is already in the system. I think this was a computer-generated mistake. B, the incompetence of staff at State House in editing, because before you send a document like this to print, you must check your figures. I just can't understand this. Okay, now for us who run a newspaper every day, and we have many mistakes, perhaps I should not complain about these people, because one day we put a picture of Museveni and put below the caption in Independent. General Katumba man. And time we put Charlie Chapman and said this is, we put a picture of Salim Saleh and
Charlie Chapman.
So these days I'm less inclined to criticize others because I see my own weaknesses and the mistakes that happen in the
over 20 pages. You mean somebody couldn't have taken
this is what I'm saying. This is incompetence taken to the extreme.
And I need to say, Honorable Francis Mawaz has apologized for this.
Yes, but Maurice, we should not be surprised that this kind of incompetence happens at State House. So that even their own incompetence is creating a public relations disaster for them. But what are the issues of journalism?
Yes.
They are the issues of journalism. I think that as journalists, when you get a story like this, we should never jump into a story. And that's what I was telling them in the newsroom. The facts that always stare us in our eyes are not always true. Every day I watch a movie, love stories, a guy is trying to chase away a girl who's disturbing him, and the wife immediately enters. She thinks they are having romance, and then she goes to divorce the guy. Yet the guy was telling this woman, I don't want you in my life, I don't want you to ruin my marriage, get away.
Yes.
And she thinks she's red-handed. So always, for me, I think I have matured in two ways.
Yes.
One, I think my proximity and dealings with President Kagame and President Museveni has shown me something, that if you are a leader Now, I'm a leader of a newspaper.
CEO, of course. Yes,
you're a CEO. Always be very skeptical on accepting any allegation that is brought against a member of your staff. Because if you are Museveni or Kagame and you're receiving intelligence, Morris is planning to overthrow the government, tomorrow he's killed. That's how Amin killed so many people here. Because he was not willing to delay a decision until he has thoroughly investigated. You need to begin by giving a person the benefit of the doubt. For me, I believe, I told the journalist at Independent when we were having an editorial meeting this morning, I said there are so many reasons. Until we have listened to the other side, for me, I don't accept this salary.
But you understand the position.
This is an official document.
Yes,
Parliament
you understand the position.
An official document can have a mistake.
Yes, but you understand the position journalists were in. That this was a document tabled in Parliament. And with parliamentary privilege, we had the right to tell the public about this document. And it would have also been wrong for us not to have informed the public that there was a document like this that is stating these kinds of figures.
However,
maybe we can also blame the MPs for not telling us that they had an email on their iPads that had an addendum to this statement.
No, we don't blame the MPs. The MPs, some of them are political and they have an agenda. And we fell into the agenda. Our role as journalists is to receive you see here, we do not give government the benefit of the doubt. And you should give everybody. Even if Konya was taken to court, the judge cannot say, I know you, Konya, will sentence you to death. There must be evidence presented against him for a judgment to take place. So I'm saying all of us know the government of Uganda is corrupt and incompetent. It's obvious. But we should always give everybody the benefit of the doubt. That's why we should be not only truthful and accurate, we should be fair and balanced. In this case, we're neither fair nor will we balanced, because once you see these figures, it was important to call State House and say, you guys, why are you paying these big salaries? That is called fairness. That the other person who's doing a wrong puts in. Then they could have said, no, actually there was a mistake. So let me tell you, this was a failure of journalism. The government owned New Vision, did the same thing, NTV did the same thing. I am sure but Joseph Were at Independent was more careful. Me, I would never publish this story of these salaries without calling the affected persons and hearing from them. Now let me tell you.
10 years ago, yes.
Let me tell you. In
10 years ago, people doubted that you'd have jumped on this one, probably.
I was perhaps young and immature, but also I wasn't running a newspaper, I was just an employee.
Yes.
But if you're in Charles Obo's position, you would have taken more skepticism. But let me tell you this.
Yes.
In 2000, there was a story, Raboni Okwiri went on television and said he had crossed from Besigye's camp, now he was joining President Yoweri Museveni's campaign. The next day, the headline in New Vision was, I have crossed to Museveni, Okwiri. And what was the headline in the Monitor? Written by me. I am still with Besigye Okwiri. Why? After the press conference, where there were three generals, Tinyafuza, Tumukunde, not Tumukunde, Tumwine, and the third general was standing behind.
So you think
Okwiri.
he did that under duress?
It was very clear that was under duress. So what I did, I went to Besigye's house at midnight
later,
and I found Okwiri there. And I interviewed him. He said, look, all that was a show. I was picked out of jail, brought to a press conference, and forced to make a statement. Because what New Vision wanted to do in their anxiety to tell the story is they did not do the next single thing. This man had three generals standing behind him when he read this statement that he has crossed from
FDC, yes.
No, FDC was
Besigye then, actually.
Besigye Task Force to the 7 Task Force. Yes. It was very clear to me that there must be something wrong. So I spent the whole evening looking for Okwiri when he's not in the presence of these generals to confirm for me what is the true story. And he told me the actual story.
Which is the right way to do it. Okay,
yes.
very, very quickly.
So
I just want to show you the right salaries. And I know we've shared them on our news.
Let me ask you a question.
On our news. I just want, and this is something we'll probably discuss, Andrew. I did look at some of the salaries and compared what we had and the new figures sent to us by the State House. And we have a person like the spokesperson of the president, Tamale Mirundi, who is actually taking home about 800,000 Uganda shillings. Isn't that a cause? No, I'm not surprised. Isn't that a cause of alarm that somebody who's close to the president and speaks for the presidency takes home 800,000? Shouldn't I be worried that he might actually use his office to make more money from it rather than take home 800,000? Shouldn't I be worried?
There's a person here called Lucena Chiobe. She's the controller of State House.
Yes.
She's the one who controls the money.
Yes.
She's paid 2.2 million shillings, 30 million shillings for
the
whole year.
Yeah.
I think that if you pay a person handling that volume of money, that kind of peanuts, there must be some perhaps special privileges they are given at State House. You see, sometimes your basic salary may not be a reflection of your actual earnings.
Of course, there's allowances.
They may be having allowances, per diem, and other things that supplement their wages, so that the basic salary may not be a true reflection of the earnings, even if they were honest. Because I think that, for example, Lucena Chiobe, she's a very, very honest woman. I don't know. I just believe that.
Yes.
So, but she handles a large volume of money.
And 2.2 million coming to your account.
If I paid her 25 million shillings per month as her basic salary, and therefore she earns 300 million a year, I would be very comfortable and I would defend that wage, because I think that any person handling that volume of money should be well paid.
All right.
But of course, I do not know the other
Okay.
non-salary
It's a debate
benefits
we will
that she
come
gets,
to,
yes.
especially civil service.
But
and
you
the
agree that there was
salary-
a failure of journalism here?
We will come to that on another day. Well, that was News